Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had an awesome week. For those of you who tune in, let me do that. Oops. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, welcome back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. We are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And for those of you who are tuning into the replay on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page, be sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the page. So welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Let me know where you may be tuning in from today in the chat. Sorry for the late start here. I just got back to speaking of mental health, speaking about mental health with a group of amazing teens here in the local community. So trying to trying to be here with you live still today. So that's why we're running a little late today, but it's all good. Welcome again. Let me know where you're tuning in from today in the chat. For those of you who are brand new, I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. It's now still really hot. Essentially, I was going to give you the weather update, but I'm like, nope, still hot. Good old Florida. Still hot, still humid, still summer, but all good. But again, thanks for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Hopefully I will be able to see the chat soon. Oh, there we go. I never know. Sometimes the chat's delayed, but good evening from New Jersey. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Virginia's in the house. Welcome. So before we get started today, I want to share, hold on a moment. Okay. I wanted to share a couple quick announcements and then if my phone will let me do it. There we go. Okay. Couple quick announcements and then I'll get started with today's mental health moment. Jacksonville, Florida's in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Okay. So couple quick announcements. One is on Saturday, August 30th. So Saturday, August 30th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time, I will be hosting a webinar, free webinar for the community. So obviously it's virtual. You can be living anywhere that you want to live and tune into the webinar. But it's called Burnout Proof, 5 ways to recharge your mental energy, because I know a lot of us are drained. There's a lot happening in the world. So I'm going to go through that and have time to answer your questions. Sometimes I can on mental health moments, but sometimes I can't. So I'll definitely have time on the webinar to answer questions as well. So to register for that, it is completely free, but you do have to register. It's Dr. Nikisha Hammond. I always put my drnikishahammond.com right here on the screen /events. So just look for the one that says Burnout Proof webinar, free webinar, and you'll get the link to sign up for that. Good evening from San Francisco. Welcome. George is in the house. Welcome. Boston. Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. The other event, of course, is Friday, October 24th, which is the second annual Growth Mindset and Self-Care Summit. I am hosting that day. I'm super excited about it. It will be in Atlanta. Mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to get your tickets. The tickets will not be sold at the door, so please get your tickets in advance. I know it's going to happen already, so I'm just reminding people you have to get your tickets in advance. They will not be sold at the door, but mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to get those tickets. And for the BWE community here, you can type in a promo code of BWE100. Actually, I'm putting in the chat, but BWE100. And of course, I don't know why my chat doesn't go to LinkedIn. But you can get $100 off the registration for that day. I don't know what that says. Okay. So, but nonetheless, so it's an all-day event. I was trying to read someone's comment, but I'm not sure what it's asking. So it is an all-day event. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. Amazing group of speakers. If you haven't seen already, if you don't follow me on any social media platform, because we have been sharing that, I've been sharing all the speakers, and they're just great, amazing people, which, by the way, some of them you'll meet next month, right here on Mental Health Moment, because I'll be inviting some of them, so you can actually meet some of them before the actual summit. So they'll be sharing some tips as well, with me next month, September. But they're absolutely amazing. We're gonna have food. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna be in community with each other. There's networking. There's a lot happening because of course it is called the Growth Mindset and Self-Care Summit, and it is designed to be a day for you to learn, but also to learn the tools to connect with other people, right? And for us to really better ourselves as a community, and help other people when we better ourselves, right? Um Cincinnati, Ohio's in the house. Welcome. So that's a little bit about that. So again, mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to get your tickets. And also drnikishahammond.com/events. The information is on there as well. So, okay, those are my announcements. Okay, so let me share today's mental health moment. And for those of you who are new to mental health moment is all about how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you, right? So I don't know. I should have brought water in here. It's all good. I just came from speaking at an event and I realized on the way back here to talk to you guys, I didn't grab my water, but it's all good. I'll be all right. Okay, so today's topic, Henderson, Kentucky's in the house. Welcome. Today's topic is all about how do you deal with what I call like what if anxiety, right? So all of us have anxiety at some point or another in our lives. Things happen, we get nervous, we get anxious, we're like, what's going on? What's happening? But sometimes we tend to do a lot of I just realized that. Okay. We tend to do a lot of what's called what if anxiety, meaning we start to ask ourselves things like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And we do that so often it can really take a toll on our mental health, right? So here's a couple tips that I have for you today of how do you deal with that type of what if anxiety, if you will. So the first thing to do is really to identify your thought process, meaning what is it that you're really stressing about, right? Keller, Texas is in the house. Welcome. What is it that you're really stressing about? What is it that you're worried about? So what if you say to yourself, okay, I really start to stop and think about my thoughts? Because some of us we're just thinking things, but we really don't stop and be aware of what it is we're fearful of. So let's say you said, okay, what if I fail? Fill in the blank at something at work. Maybe it's something in a relationship, something with parenting, something in some other part of your life. Maybe that's your what if anxiety, right? But the first thing is to really think about naming it because you have to be aware of what it is, right? It's hard for us to change certain things if we don't know what's going on or if we don't take the time to recognize that. So so the first thing is that because it's usually our brains we think certain things in a cycle, right? Like just sometimes we go round and round and round with the same type of anxiety, the same what if this happens, what if that happens, right? So really again we're taking a pause and taking a look at what does that actually look like, and what are we really saying to ourselves. So that's step one. The second thing is okay, let me back up before I give you the second tip today. So the thing is with anxiety, a lot of times anxiety is a liar. So is depression, but we're talking about anxiety today. So anxiety is a liar, meaning there are things sometimes that when you are anxious, you are telling yourself that are not true. There are things that you may be worrying about so much that will never happen. Right? Like that's why I mean when I say anxiety is a liar sometimes. So if you say, what if fill in the blank XYZ happens, well then the next thing to ask yourself is, but what is your current reality though, right? So when you say to yourself, like, what if, then you ask yourself, but what is true now? Right. So if you're saying, oh, what if I fail? What if I fail? What if I don't accomplish this goal or whatever it is that you have, then the question is, but what is true right now? Right? Like that's another question that you could be asking yourself. And the reason why, hi from Georgia, welcome. Keller, Texas, welcome. California's in the house. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. If you're just now tuning in, today we're talking about how to deal with what if anxiety, right? Like that, what if this, what if that, what if this? So the first step, as I was saying earlier, is to really start to identify like what is it that you're even worrying about, right? The second thing is to, when you get to that point of like the what if this happened, what is that happening? Ask yourself, it's really important to anchor back into reality. So ask yourself, but what is true for me right now? Right. So, like, let's say you said, oh, what if I fail? But what is true right now? So, the right now might mean you're not failing and you're nowhere near failing, or you're nowhere near that thing that you're worrying about happening. Right. But it's something that we create sometimes with our own minds, is this high level of anxiety. Good evening from Baltimore, Maryland. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Um, so 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 those are two, well, the first two tips, but things I really want you to think about, because it takes time. Nothing is overnight, right? But you really can train your brain to work on dealing with your anxiety. Like it's a real thing to train your brain on the things that you're telling yourself. So the type of self-talk that you have, uh, the how you how you react to having the what if, we all have it, right? That what if anxiety, but how are you reacting to that, right? And are you recognizing that, and are you able to shift your thinking into understanding though, but what is happening right now today, right? Good evening from Michigan. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So so the other thing is that, oh, it's such a powerful thing to do too. We're talking today about how to handle what if anxiety, and also a couple things. One is how to handle what if anxiety, but also understanding that you really can train your brain. You really can work through affirmations. You really can tell yourself things. Now, sometimes it's not just that, right? Sometimes there's other things we need to do. But that is one powerful thing that you can do. And so the other thing to think about is reminding yourself that you've handled hard challenges before. So when you think of things that have happened in your past, difficult things, we all have difficult things that we deal with, and understand that you got through that, right? You're here, like you're here listening to this or watching this right now, like you got through that challenge. So the what ifs that your mind are playing, you can work on telling yourself, like, I can get through this, right? I'm not saying it's going to be an easy thing. If that said particular thing that you're worried about happens, I wouldn't say that. I don't know, right? We don't know, but you can work on reminding yourself how resilient you are and that you can get through. Right. Hi from Texas. Welcome, welcome. Dallas Fort Worth is in the house. Welcome. We got a lot of Texas people today. Keller, Texas. Yeah, there's a lot of Texas people here today. But hey, my Texas people. Welcome, welcome. So we're here talking about again about the what if anxiety, right? So reminding yourself again that you've been through hard things before. You've gotten through it. You can be resilient. Like these are the type of things to remind ourselves of. And it doesn't make every situation easier because there's just hard things that we go through, but it's also important that you recognize that you can work on building up your resilience, and you can work on how you're approaching the things that are happening to you. That is within your control. And because it's not always easy. I wish I had easy advice all the time here on Mental Health Moment, but it's not always easy. So if you need the help of someone else, a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, a therapist, a coach, or whomever, that is okay. Please get the support you need. Like that is okay. It was interesting the meeting I was at tonight. We were talking with teens, excuse me, about different resources in the community and different things they can do in helping them with their mental health. And there was a lady there tonight, from an organization, maybe some of you heard of it. It's called NAMI. N is in Nancy, A, M is in Mary, I, NAMI, NAMI.org. And they have different virtual and in-person support groups, literally all over the country, like all over the US. So I share that with you just as a reminder that if for any reason I'm speaking to someone today and you're like, I don't feel supported by my whomever, like family members, friends, or whomever it is in your life, that there are organizations such as NAMI, for example, that have support groups. Like people, there are a lot of organizations and resources that are there to help you. And there's other people, I promise you, there's other people going through whatever it is that you may be going through. And so that is one way. There's many ways, but that's one way also that you could feel more supported, right? Like maybe it's a support group, or maybe it's your own individual therapy, or maybe it's a coach, or like I said, someone else around you who is supporting you through whatever it is that you're going through. Um, North Carolina's in the house. Welcome. Vicksburg, Mississippi. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here. Oops, Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So also one of the things that's really important, it's funny because we were talking about mindfulness tonight too, with the organization I was just at. And it's also important sometimes to, when you get into the what if anxiety, to remind yourself that in this moment, right? Like reminding yourself, if that's true for you, in this moment, I am safe. Right. So in this moment, I am safe. So if you're worried about something, what if this happens? What if that happens? What ifs? And but it's not occurring, right? Like that's your anxiety about something that may happen in the future. How likely likely it is to happen, I don't know. Like it depends on the situation. But maybe it is true though, because again, you have to ask yourself, but what is true right now? So maybe it is true for you right now where you could tell yourself, but in this moment, I am safe. In this moment, present moment, I am okay. Right? Like reminding yourself of those things. Hey, I'm from Ethiopia. Welcome, welcome. Virginia's in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Okay, so that was tip number 2. I'm going to give you the last tip of today. But for those of you just joining, before I give the third tip of today, I do want to remind you again of the Mindset Training Summit, the Growth Mindset and Self-Care Summit, but at mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to register. It will be in person this year in Atlanta. It is the second year, well, first year in person, but second year of my event. It's a one time a year event. So mindsettrainingsummit.com is where you can go to register for BWE family members, which is all of you all watching this. You can put in BWE 100 to get $100 off your registration. Also, right now, still is the early bird special. So please get it before the price goes up. And also, there's not going to be tickets sold at the door. So please get your tickets for that. But it's going to be amazing. It's a one-day event. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm super excited to meet some of you all. Actually, oh, there's so much. But you can go to the website and learn all about it. But I'm really super excited about it this year and all the speakers and all that you learn and all the experiences and connecting with one another as a community. Okay, so last so the last tip for today for the what if anxiety is something, it's a pretty powerful tool. It does take practice like anything else. And don't be discouraged if you start it and then you're like, I don't know if this is working. Like it takes time. And it's something that works for a lot of people. May or may not work for you. I'm not promising that, of course, but it's something that's worked with for a lot of people. And anyways, a lot of good research on it. And so that is what's called reframing, right? So reframing means that when you have that anxious thought, that what if anxiety, right? Is what we're talking about today, that you, instead of having that thought sort of roll around in your brain, add more stress to your life, that you maybe can turn it into a small step that you can take. So you might say, instead of the what ifs, you might turn it into, okay, but what can I do right now to be prepared? Right. So again, what if, what if, if your what if was, what if I fail? Fill in the blank, whatever it is that you're dealing with right now or is going on, then maybe the question to ask yourself would be like, but what step could I take to prevent that? And when I say step, I mean a small doable step, right? Because there's certain things that we can do to prevent certain things that we're anxious about, and sometimes it is outside of our control. So you also need to be honest with yourself. I think we did a whole mental health moment about that actually recently or a while back. You also need to be honest with yourself that some things are just outside of your control. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Because a lot of us we want to control like everything happening around us. And the reality is we just can't. Life, right? Life happens, things pop up, things we don't expect. You know, it is like that's life, right? There's just some parts that we can't control, but there are parts that we can, right? Like asking ourselves, okay, what steps can I take? Right? Like how can I maybe try to prevent this? Or again, reminding yourself, I'm safe right here in this moment, right? Like bringing it back to the present moment because a lot of times anxiety is anticipatory, meaning like you're just worrying about something that may happen tomorrow or a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. And it's like that may never ever happen. Right. But again, like getting back into the present moment and having those moments of mindfulness and remembering currently what is true right now. Right. Austin, Texas is in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Um, so the thing is too is that and you know what? It's so funny because anxiety is on a spectrum, right? So anxiety sometimes, like if you let your mind run wild, there can be so many things that we can we can imagine so many different scenarios that literally, like I mentioned earlier, would never ever even come true. But anxiety is a liar. And anxiety can make us believe things that are not true, right? Instead of like practical things that will be more likely to happen, practical solutions to problems, like being more in reality. And again, like I mentioned, anxiety is on a spectrum, meaning all of us on the planet have some level of anxiety. Now, on the spectrum of anxiety, sometimes it does get to the point of an anxiety disorder, which is something totally different than what I'm talking about today. But making sure that you're aware for you, like again, we always talk about mental health moment, but like how are you doing? Right. And checking in with yourself. Um, Hi. I see you on my second session. So grateful for your leadership. Thank you. Arkansas is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Maryland's in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. Um, so okay. So I'm gonna wrap up here soon. Winston-Salem, North Carolina's in the house. Welcome. But again, I gave you a couple of those tips today. But again, it's one thing as I wrap up here. I do want to remind you that it's just because anxiety is on a spectrum that some of these tools and techniques and that sort of thing, it may work for you and you try this for a couple of weeks and you're like, yes, I'm good. My life has changed. Some of you need to work on this for a couple months. Some of you is going to take a couple years. Like that's just the reality because again, our anxiety is on a spectrum and our anxiety is caused by different things. So every single one of us, we all have a different story. You may or may not have childhood trauma, like you may or not have adulthood trauma. Like there's just right, we all have different lived experiences. So our levels of anxiety are just due to a lot of different things. I'm trying to like summarize and not give y'all like a 3-hour explanation for anxiety. Oh, but my point is that either way, work on yourself, do what it is that you need to do that's best for you. Chesapeake, Virginia's in the house. Welcome. Do what you need to do that is best for you. Again, some of this you can do on your own. Put in some of the tools. And if you came in late, you can always watch the replay on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page on the past mental health moments and this one, of course, when it gets uploaded there. But again, practice these things for yourself at home. But again, if it's not enough, it is okay to get help from others, right? When it comes to your anxiety, if this is an issue for you, it's all good. Like you're allowed. So okay. So I'm gonna wrap up here. I don't even know what state I'll be in next week. Okay, I'll be somewhere next week, some other state, but I will still be live next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be back on right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And don't forget, Boiling Springs, South Carolina's in the house. Welcome. DC's in the house. Welcome, welcome. And don't forget next month. Next month actually have a couple guests next month, which will be some of the speakers from the Growth Mindset and Self Care Summit. So you'll get to meet them here, which is pretty cool before the event. So that is all my announcements I believe I have today. So again, drnikishahammond.com, which is right here. I'm always pointing the wrong side. drnikishahammond.com/events is where you can always go to get the latest events, whether it's a virtual event or in person, or in your town or not, or whatnot. The events will be on there. The links to register will be on there as well. All right. Cool. Those are all my announcements. So I will see you all again, like I mentioned, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Be blessed. Have an amazing week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, you guys.